What's up, guys? Time to show off a new build, and for whatever reason I don't do this ahead of time, but this is either version 3 or version 5 of my pilot dial. I think it's a V3, but you know, I have to go back and look every single time because I do so many of both of them that each time I just forget which one it is. But what I did with this one, a little bit different. I have had this bezel for, I don't know, I bought like 4 of these 3 or 4 years ago, and you might say, oh, it's just a black bezel, black insert bezel. Yes, that's true, but this is a little bit special of a bezel. It's a bit of a knurled or tooth bezel there that has a ceramic insert in it that's slightly sloped because most of mine are all flat, but it's a lumed insert. And what's special about this one is it's blue lumed, and that's also the reason I haven't used it, because everything that you get, you know, like I can lume in blue, but more often than not, all my hands are already green, and it's like a big process to like make hands now with blue lume. So it's just sat there, it's just sat there, it's just sat there. So I had some of these dials, and I thought, you know what? I have some blue lume mixed up. Let's just do the lume in blue. And I happen to have a set of hands that I liked that had no lume in them already. Now, the second hand had lume, but that's pretty easy to get that little piece out. The other ones, some of them are so wide that I don't know if they use something special to bridge it without getting, like, you know, the lume to like sag in spots, you know, bridging that gap of trying to lume something. When something's real thin, and you know, just picture paint. When you put paint back there, if it's too big of a gap, the paint's going to start falling through. So I don't know how they do it on some of these really wide hands where they get the lume in there and it stays flat. So I found something that was a little bit smaller, and I lumed it. So took a lasered dial, backside lumed it in blue, took a black handset to go with the bezel insert, and lumed that in blue. And instead of grabbing a black second hand, I thought, well, everything else around here is accented in white, so let's do a white one. So I thought it was a good pop of color, and since this is a pilot dial style, I did the Star Crown Star Engraved caseback, which is a milled caseback that we then go back and engrave on it. And put it on a super comfy, waxy wristband strap. This dark color has hints of blue in it, but also appears black. And I thought that goes really well with having blue lume. And then a brushed preview buckle that's also star engraved. So that is the build. For reference on this, let's throw some UV on it to supercharge it. And then drop down here. So I think it came out pretty stellar. Bezel on it will turn left, it'll turn right. This is a tension ring bezel. I got it on there pretty tight though, so it's not going to move unless you want it to move. And it's minute style, which is great to go with the hour style of the dial. This is an automatic mechanical. You've got a rotor in the back here. You just can't see it, but you can feel it. And as you're moving, that will keep your watch wound. But if you're not going to be very active or the watch is dead, don't just set the time and throw it on, because unless you're shimmying about, you are going to lose time right off the bat. So back the crown off the threads until you can hear it and feel it clicking. Don't pull on it. Just make sure it's off the threads and you'll hear it clicking. At that point you can wind, and a wind is a turn this way. Turning it back towards you doesn't do anything, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and go back and forth. If you do this for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, that mixed with your rotor movement should keep your time throughout the day. But if you know you're going to be driving or sitting at a desk, etc., just double that up. You'll max out your 31-hour plus power reserve on it. You cannot overwind it, so don't worry about that. You can sit here and wind all day if you want. When you're good with your winding, you're going to pull it to the one and only click, and you can now set your time. You'll notice it does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep rotating. And you'll also notice you've got a wobble crown. This deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement, so when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not putting any adverse pressures on keyless works or the movement. Now you can set your time. Okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 12:05 p.m.
12:05 p.m. All right, when you're good, you're going to push it over, get it out of that time setting, and then just wind it down. And that is the build. As with every build, you're going to get matching beads, and what's extra cool about these matching beads is these have some lumed beads in them. So we did silver to match with your brushed case, some black to match with your bezel insert, and then these kind of cloudy yet lumed beads. You can kind of see right here that they are lumed. So that all together in a BVW Special Edition box. It's going to come with watch cleaner. This is a foamer that's good on all glass and metal, so everything here in the center, non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, as well as a microfiber. You also get leather conditioner to keep this strap perfectly soft. If you ever feel that it's not, apply it on both sides, front and back. Pretty much you'd probably just want to apply it here, because if you ever feel it's not as soft, it's the side that's against your skin. Use a rag or something like that. Don't use one of your microfibers. You don't want something to like harden on there and now you rub that on your watch, you know. And then lastly, you're going to have some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, just repackaged. It's like a poly watch, and it's for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it. But if you do, no big deal. Put a tiny bit of this on it and buff it out using your included microfiber. It is color matching, so those go together. If you see that the scratch is up and down, just go left and right, fill in that scratch, haze it, and then buff it out, and it should be gone. If it's not, just revisit it. Let that solidify. You're basically just building up whatever scratched out area you put into the acrylic. So just be a little careful. They're kind of made for abuse. That glass, that's why you can polish them back out. So that's the build. If it's going to you, congrats. I don't even know if I can get that bezel anymore. I looked the other day for some white ceramic style ones, and I know they have some other lumed ones now, but I don't think it's the same style, and I don't think they're in blue. So obviously, if I can get more, I will get more at some point. If I see them, I'll get more. But this is a bezel that I've had for several years and just have never used. So if you see this and it's not yours, you didn't win this watch or you didn't buy this watch, etc., and you want a build like this, there's a chance we can do something close, but it would probably require me buying like a ceramic insert from DLW that has blue lume to it, which is like 50-ish bucks, and then putting it into a different bezel, and it would be flat. I can't buy bezels for my platform with a slope where you can put inserts in, so it would be a flat style if I can find them with blue lume. I know I can get them with green lume, so the difference in that is I bought this all together for about the same cost as it's going to cost for one aftermarket bezel, plus you'd have $45-50 in a bezel insert. So replicating this watch in some form or fashion is, if I can't find that bezel, is minimally going to cost, just cost alone, $45 to $50 with shipping and difference. So but I think it came out pretty awesome. So if it's going to you, congrats. I hope you love it. If you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out. I'll see what I can do. If you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.